Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ninja Warrior podcast. Tonight, it is finally time to talk about the Stage 5 Ninja Award nominees.
Yep, you guys might have thought it'd be a little longer, but we actually got the tribute done. David actually got to work on it. So now, we are here talking about the Stage 5 Ninja Award nominees and talking about how you guys can vote for them and whatnot.
Yeah, this is gonna look very similar to how we did last year, but basically the same way. Yeah, it's literally the same thing, just with the qualifier of it being AW15 instead of AW14. But yeah, it's exactly the same as it was last year. There were a couple different categories with different ninjas that we selected as nominees for them, and you guys are gonna get to vote for them via community posts, which we'll talk about in a bit here. But without any further ado, let's hop into the nominees for each category. The categories are almost going to be exactly the same as last year. There's still the same amount, and there's one new one that I'm going to be showing. That's going to be here, mostly because season 15 was so drastic compared to other seasons. But we'll get there when we get there. Starting off, we have the breakout male performance.
Yeah, basically for male rookies who did super well during the season, who had breakout seasons. Obviously, the top three in this list are Nasagama, Hans Hertz, and Noah Munio, all competitors who made it to stage 4 without much caviar or really difficulty at all, because two out of three of them were on Ninja Junior, and they just did really well in general.
Yeah, all three of these had completely scored the course, and honestly, I could see any one of them winning this.
Yeah, it really does come down to it. I'm honestly unsure what we're going to pick for this one, because we don't know many of these competitors all that well.
Yeah, despite, everything going on, the top three that we just mentioned all did the same and got almost the same showtime in the show. Hans got a little bit less, but still, it felt like all three of these guys are exactly the same, so it's going to be difficult to differentiate between the three, if I'm being honest. The other two nominees are Ben Barrett's, who made it to stage 2, though it was because of the season meddling they did with the whole format thing. And then we had Alex Rumer, who also only made it to stage 2 because of that's because of the format meddling, but also did really well on that stage 2 course. Of course, and was kind of efficient on it as well. Kind of just thought he was the only other rookie we weren't highlighting here, so thought it made sense to highlight him in this category.
Yeah, so those are the nominees for that first category. Honestly, again, I have no idea who would win it, quite frankly.
It could literally be any one of the top 3. I'd be shocked if one of the bottom 2 ends up winning, but hey, who knows. Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge contest for the winner here on this category. The breakout female performance for female rookies is looking pretty interesting for the last year. We have Taylor Green, Delisa Himka, Emily Gardner, Emma Pereira, and Wiley Porter. If you notice, most of the I think every girl on this list is a member of the Sweet 15, the group of girls who are making it to the national finals. I think Emily Gardner is literally the only person not a part of that team who to make it into this nominee position.
Yeah, so I feel like Taylor probably has this locked down. She had the most successful season. She's known for main W Junior. She's the only woman to hit a buzzer in the qualifiers this season, though a lot of them got close. She was definitely the one given the most publicity by the show. Generally, I am full confidence she's going to win this one for sure. But everyone else doesn't really have much of a known name outside this season.
Yeah, none of them could be an AW Junior, I think. So it all comes down to that, and plus, not many of them really got showing by the show. The other 4 did not hit a buzzer this season, just got to Vegas and did decently well. I think all of them made it to the Gambler. So generally speaking, I think Green has this locked down, but we'll see what happens generally. Yeah, next up, we got the Ninja Killer of the Year, basically, for obstacles that had the highest knockout rates out of any of the rounds. This was really interesting because it also allowed us to put in other obstacles that weren't directly new from the season. We got Grease Lightning for the qualifiers because despite it not being a hard obstacle, it did take out a surprising amount. We had the Gambler on stage 1, Thread the Needle, Slingshot from the semis, which I think was a given at this point, and Lasso Launch was given the final position.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's going to win on this one. Literally, I think any of these could win. Like, I can see the Gamble winning, even though I think Slingshot should definitely win.
Yeah, we'll keep on talking about it in terms of deciding an actual winner for the S category. But for you guys, I don't know what's going to win in the Ninja Killer. A lot of them, some got more showtime than others, and again, 2 of them from the qualifiers and 2 of them from Vegas, 1 from the semis. I'm not exactly sure what's going to win, but we will end up finding out as we end up getting into the voting side of things. Next up, we have the best new obstacle, and this is actually kind of interesting because until Vegas, we didn't really have many obstacles to fill out this category with.
Yeah, no, not good obstacles anyway. But we saw some good ones. We got Thread the Needle on stage 1, Pressure Cooker on stage 3, Road Signs on stage 3, Lasso Launch, and the Cubes from the qualifiers.
Yeah, so generally, this was difficult because we didn't get many new obstacles this season, and we're not going to get many next year either. Like, I am really curious if we're going to get enough to fill out the category next year.
It's going to be interesting, yeah. Actually, I don't know how many changes they're going to make that will be new obstacles. We know stage 1 isn't getting anything new. We're going to know stage 3 is getting a new obstacle, Pizza Party, but, like, we don't actually know.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I think for sure. But out of these 5, I'm not exactly sure what's going to win.
I think it depends on what people are going for. Like, if they're gonna, like, it depends. Like, Lasso Launch I like because of its some of the movements you make, but I hate how the obstacle looks. For example, with all the cows and stuff. Like, that was not necessary. I feel like it's more likely that something like Pressure Cooker might end up losing this category just because it didn't have much of a knockout rate. But that's a hard obstacle, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I actually got to try it at my Ninja Gym a couple weeks ago, and it's a hard obstacle. Like, I could do it, but I got lucky one try making the first, being able to slot the first cooker into the pole. But after that, every other subsequent try I made at it, I couldn't get any fault. I could not make that first move just because it was so far away. And honestly, well, yes, it does look easier than on the stage 3 that we see. You see, it still is taxing. And again, like, if there was an obstacle right before that just didn't have a rest bar, this obstacle would be so much more deadly. And I feel like so many more ninjas would end up falling off him.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I agree. Yeah, but there's also, like, road signs and stuff. Like, there's a lot here that could end up being a winner. There's a lot here that could end up being a loser, too. Quite frankly, I feel like this is, this and Ninja Go are two ones that just seem kind of unpredictable, just because, like, it just seems like, any one of the nominees we picked could win.
Yeah, it depends. Again, it depends on what you want. Like the cubes and Lasso Launch, and Road Signs are very over the top. Or Pressure Cooker and Stealthiest are more general, less propped up obstacles. But they're still really good. Like I really like Thread the Needle, despite the fact that it's barely even getting showtime. And if you notice, Gamble isn't on this list either because it's a little too much for my taste. But yeah, generally we will honestly struggling to come up with obstacles to put here because we didn't want stuff like the getaway in here because that's an obstacle that's too much. Same with the gambler. So I'm honestly kind of glad we were able to fill it out.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Alright, next up we have the Stealthiest Ninja category, which is for competitors who were not shown on the show and basically given the shaft side. We have some pretty interesting nominees. We have Alex Rumor, once again, who, despite making it to Vegas, barely got shown at all, and he was not shown until stage 2, where both his normal one and one-off one was shown, but I'm pretty sure everyone but one was shown on stage 2, so that was basically a given.
Yeah. Then we had Evan Andrews, who was given 3 fast forwards and only shown during his run on stage 2, where he had a shocking fail on the Jawbreakers. So yeah, and he also got the second fastest time on stage 1. So generally, I feel like he should have gotten showtime, but he did not. He did not, despite especially because of the fact that he got so much last year too.
Yeah, like he was one of the top rookies. I think we even nominated him for best for was it breakout male, even though he didn't win it. Like, dude, he could have he just gotta get the shaft this season.
Yeah, Cam Bongano is still heel, unfortunately, from last year. He made all the way to Vegas and was fast forwarded all three of his runs, which really does suck. He was basically ignored once again during this season, which is why he's still heel, which really does annoy me. After that, we had Jeremiah Boyd, who was once also given the shaft up till stage 2, where they basically ignored him, and obviously because of the whole disqualification thing, they also gave him what effectively seemed like the shaft on stage 3 because, they kind of had to fake his run because he apparently got disqualified, even though I really don't understand why. Like, it seems something really pointless and stupid.
Yeah, but anyway, finally we have Matt Domingo, one of the top rookies from last season. I think he actually won the breakout male battle last year. He did. He ended up getting fast forwarded every single one of his runs and ended up going out early on stage 1. So he was honestly barely even in the season, despite how well he did last year.
Yeah, it was honestly kind of surprising, and similar to Ever Andrews, both of them got the complete shaft despite doing really well during last season and them being top rookies as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to win this one, though.
I can see Evan Andrews, but quite frankly, I think it's more likely that Jeremiah Boyd is going to win this because he's the biggest name, and it's also known that, like, there was some issues with how they showed him on the show and what happened on set.
Yeah, I think it's pretty horrible. Matt Domingo I could see winning too.
Yeah, he was the complete dog horse that completely won both the best male competitor, which surprised me. I was not expecting him to win Rookie of the Year, male Rookie of the Year, but he got it anyway. So it would be interesting to see him win here.
Yeah, I think it would be funny if like Cam Bongano won.
Yeah, I mean he won it. I mean, for the us side, he won it last year. I think in the family we got like 3rd place or something. And Alex Wilmore, I guess he's just like the odd one out on this one because he's a complete rookie, but still like he got completely shafted until stage 2, where he was actually notable. So yeah, kind of depends on how you look at it. But yeah.
Anyway, after that we have the best comeback story. Basically, competitors who went out early, who haven't competed in a while, coming back and doing kind of well during this season. First off, we got Austin Gray, who went out early in season 14, and then got a really good season here, getting all the way to the final obstacle on stage 3.
Yeah, Austin had a really gutsy season. He was not shown super prominently, but he was still shown pretty prominently. He got a nice showcase on stage 2, where we had that huge save at Epic Air Surfer. Honestly, Austin had a really good comeback season. I thought that he was surprisingly enough not one of the ones that gets stage 4. It's like actually kind of surprising.
Yeah. Then we got Ryan Stratus, who kind of just barely squeaked his way in here. But we decided to put him in here is because he hasn't competed in a while, because he didn't get the call, obviously. But it was really nice to see him in the qualifiers and the semis, despite him not really being shown in the semis.
Yeah, for sure. It was really good to see Ryan Stratus, so that's why we put him here. We got Vance Walker, who I feel like is poised to win this category because it's Vance Walker. He went from failing 3 times in the qualifiers, semis, and on stage 1 doing AW14 to completing every course and, winning the entire show here in season 15.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious he's going to be the winner. Just going based off the fact that, he won the actual show itself. So he is definitely the biggest name in this category. That's in this category. But we also got Elijah Browning, who went out in the semis last year, getting all the way to stage 3. And we had Jonathan Godabell, who went on the qualifiers. And, well, yes, he surprisingly went on the jumping spiral on stage 1. We thought he could squeak in here, too, just like Ryan Stratus did.
Yeah, one person I want to know who is also on this list is Ian Dory, who just did slightly worse than Stratus, but just know that he could have easily been here, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was actually quite a tough decision to pick. Like, who had a more prominent season, too. And it was just like, Dory was fast-forwarded, Trisol Stratus was shown during his episode, That kind of is what it came down to, but it could easily have gone either way.
Yeah, so, honestly, we said that Vance is likely to win, and I still think he's likely to win. The category as a whole, even on the us side, I think he might end up winning. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't. Alright. Next up, we have the most shocking fail of the year. Obviously, this is the most surprising fail that we got to see throughout the season. First off, we have Sean Bryan, who was surprisingly taken out by the gamble on stage 1. Really funny how he's on here for both AW 14 and 15. Just constantly getting taken out by the first stage, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, Bryan was not accepted to go out on stage 1, but he did. And that was surprising. We had Kai Beckstrand going out on the Jumping Spider on stage 1, which was probably the biggest surprise of the season, in my opinion. But of course, we'll have to talk about it in terms of giving him the actual win.
Yeah, we had Nate Hansen on stage 1, who was taken out by the Gamble. Just, honestly, a surprise. Like, we were expecting him to go to stage 2 and so would probably get outmatched by someone, but who knows? Maybe he would have gotten back to stage 3.
Yeah, but the Gamble was probably just a really big obstacle for him, so it makes sense. After that, we have Joe Mawaski, who was taken out, honestly, 3 times throughout this season. 3 surprising fails. He was taken out in the qualifiers, in the semis, and on stage 2 very early. And we're specifically highlighting his stage 2 fail, but honestly, Mawaski could win this just based off the fact that he had 3 shocking fails all throughout the season.
Yeah, it's really weird, but Mawaski had one of the most sloppy seasons he's ever had, which is really funny to me. Like, how is that even doable?
Yeah, like, similar to Gil, Daniel Gil also failed 2 courses this season, but still got to go to stage 4. But Mawaski, he's known for being, like, this consistent ninja, but in recent years, he really has shown some cracks.
Oh, yeah, for sure, because, like, he's, ever since AW 10, he's, like, fallen early in the qualifiers, he's fallen on stage 1, he's fallen on stage 2, he hasn't made it back to stage 2 since AW 11, and I feel like he would have failed on stage 2 if it wasn't for how easy that course was, if I'm being completely real. And honestly, I feel like Mawaski's one of those ninjas who just is never going to win, which sucks, because he's one of the best, but quite frankly, his time is almost up, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, he's a father. We can already tell, like, he's already being outclassed by everyone. And if it wasn't for the fact that he had the status like Gil, he probably would have been shafted by this point.
Yeah, Mawaski is surprisingly enough still someone who gets showtime by the show, but, like, anyone else in his position doesn't, and that's interesting.
Yeah, like, other big-time veterans, like, against Stratus, they don't usually get showtime. Like, Stratus stopped getting showtime in Season 11 because his qualifying one wasn't shown. His semis was shown. His stage 1 was, and stage 2 was completely shafted, and in stage 3 he was the first one of the night. So even in that season where we got so many ones to be shown, you can still see him getting the shaft. And honestly, last up, we had Jonathan Godbout on the Jumping Spider. I guess we just completely forgot to mention it, but yeah.
It's interesting, man. We always said how Joe Mawaski usually win this category, but Kai Beckstrand has a good chance to. I think everyone here has a really good chance of winning this category. It all comes down to who do you know more, and who do you think was more surprising to see fail.
Yeah, so one thing I want to note is that Caden Levsek's fail on stage 2 is not on this list. And that was simply because, as we mentioned during the stage 2 video, it wasn't that surprising to us. Like, we were honestly saying finally that he fell in the water, not, oh no, he fell in the water. Like, generally it was inevitable it was going to happen anyway, so that's kind of why he was squeaked out on here, and there were more surprising fails from other ninjas who were expected to go a lot farther.
Yeah, because everyone else here fell on stage 1 except for Joe Mawaski.
Yeah, if you noticed that. Nice one, Crystal. But yeah, generally it was more surprising for all these than just a fall than someone like Caden Levsek. But it was still kind of surprising, but just want to know, because I knew someone was going to, like, weight us for the fact that Caden Levsek is not a nominee on this list, on the most shocking fail side of things.
Yeah, it just really didn't seem like actually worth it to us, but we get it,
Yeah, even though we, like, justified it, I feel like someone's still gonna, like, call us out on it.
Oh, yeah, for sure, 100%. It would make so much sense, too. It's just, like, Like, people kept complaining on the Osaka fans where he wasn't there, but yet Josiah Papel was.
Yeah, and he's not here either just because, again, there were ninjas who fell earlier who was more surprising, but Papel also was pretty surprising, too, falling in a big also twice on stage 2.
Yeah. After that, we have a pretty interesting category, the only new category here, and it's a pretty interesting one, too. The worst format change. Oh, man, this one's added purely out of spite.
Yeah, so because this season had so many format changes and so many different things about it, I could actually fill in an entire category just based off the different changes seen in each round. And you guys are going to be able to vote on which one you think was the worst. So it's going to be interesting, given like an award of shame, but yeah, I thought it'd be a funny idea. It probably will never come back again in future seasons. But I thought it'd be a funny idea because the season was so different compared to every other season, so thought it'd be interesting. First off, we got the racing in the semifinals, which was not as uncalled for as some of these other nominees, but definitely still uncalled for to me. I mean, quite frankly, it didn't go all that well. It was executed pretty poorly, and and if you guys have seen that racing in AEW video, which, by the way, not many people have, so check that out if you haven't. But yeah, I didn't know it doesn't work as well as it did on Team Ninja and stuff. If it did, maybe it wouldn't be on this list.
Yeah, because like I don't think it's a bad idea. Like we kind of gave it the Shaft side, but it was really only because the Oasis were entertaining. In hindsight, in hindsight, it wasn't that bad of an idea. In fact, it could have worked if the Oasis were like Team Ninja.
Yeah, I agree. Like generally, if the format catered to them, if it was like Team Ninja, then I think it could have worked. It just didn't because of bad execution. And next up, we have something that completely couldn't work no matter how you spin it, is the top 24 rule on stage 1. How the top 24 were guaranteed to move on regardless of clearage, and the fact that they would play back a random ninja if they were more than 24, but it was uneven. And honestly, yeah, quite frankly, this was probably the worst change out of them all. The fact that they, quote-unquote, had to do this. And again, it ruined, as I mentioned, it ruined the entire point of Vegas and made stage 1 less fun to watch.
Yeah, man, it was just such a bad idea. Like, I don't understand why they thought this was good. Like, keep it in the semis, that's fine, everything, but, like, don't shove it into Vegas, people. It did not make it more entertaining. It just simply didn't. Like, it was interesting, yes, but honestly, I would have wanted the normal Vegas format. And that this entire racing thing completely ruined what was already there.
Yeah, for sure. After that we have the racing on stage 2. This purely, kind of tore both stage 1 and stage 3 as we get into apart. So, this was an interesting idea, but it still wasn't a good one. And the courses weren't really well designed, but again, it's stage 2, so trying to turn that into a race, they probably did the best they really could, really, but it wasn't the best in the world, so it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, moving on, we got the top, changing the top, the qualifiers to being the top 30, from the top 30 to only being the top 13 and forcing one-offs into it and all that stuff. And basically, the fact that they were only allowed to be different, combinations of obstacles instead of different actual courses for the qualifiers. Just the fact that the qualifiers are completely destroyed here is basically what we're saying for this whole part of the nomination.
Yeah, it's basically all the changes in the qualifiers rolled into one. So the whole top 13 thing, the one-offs, the fact that there was only allowed to be different combinations of the same like 10 or so obstacles, and all these courses were shown twice in a row because of the whole brackets thing. And honestly, I feel like if they were given the 2-hour one time, they should have aired the 2 qualifiers with the same course together. Like, with that one episode that was given a half hour, that was given in full 2 hours, it honestly should have been allowed to... It should have shown the other round with that same course, so that way it seemed a little less jarring for us to be changing courses. It was just a new competitive field.
Yeah! It would have been a better packaging of those rounds, and it would have made it less jarring. Like, the Mutant Mayhem episode would still be able to be themed this way. They just aired them week after week. Like, you can understand that a little bit more, and if they space it out like that, then it'd be more like, we spend 2 weeks on a course and then we move on to the next course. It would feel more structured if they aired it like that.
Yeah, for sure. So, quite frankly, this is also ruined by how they aired the episodes, but yeah. After that, we have the final nomination. The fact that there were 14 guaranteed ninjas in Stage 3, and how it made Stage 3 completely get wiped by the people on it.
Yeah, like, if there were more finishers on Stage 1, we would have had more people on Stage 3. Because if the top 24 was completely filled and then more ninjas got to be filled in afterwards, like it is for some seasons, like, Season 9 had 41 finishers, and that's the record right now. If that basically, that doesn't double it, but it's really close to doubling that top 24.
Yeah, so, generally speaking, if we had a season like that, like, we would have had, like, a good 20 people in Stage 3. So, we're lucky that number wasn't higher, quite frankly.
Yeah, they kind of just made this really average, bad Stage 3 course into this kind of bridge that took you to Stage 4 with basically no difficulty aside from the final obstacle.
Yeah, basically that's it. And, yeah, that's that category. Interesting one. It's a very interesting one, but I hope you guys are interested in voting for it.
Yeah, again, it's like an award of shame, just like shaming this season for being an idiot.
Yeah, we aren't even going to be able to do it for next season because it's going to be the trend at that point.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Honestly, we're going to talk about, David plans to make a solo video about this whole topic, but, like, season 16 is the same thing, and it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a worse season, but honestly, it may not be much better than AW15.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in that video, but generally that's the general consensus right now. Finally, we have the breakout male performance basic. Finally, we have the best male performance, entirely based off the people who made it to Stage 4 in the Grade 8, even though I don't like calling them that. We have Vance Walker, Daniel Gill, Noah Munier, RJ Roman, and NASA Gamermore. This was an interesting category because it was difficult to actually pick the two rookies that are in here, NASA and Noah. I actually found it really difficult to choose between NASA and Hans for that final nomination, but we'll honestly see what happens, who ends up winning this, although I feel like it's guaranteed to be Vance.
I could see it being Gil, but it's also probably going to be Vance, because then you complete every course. Gil failed on Stage 2 and the semis, so I think Vance has probably got this one locked down, but I don't shaft away Gil, and RG I guess could win it too, but I don't think I can see it.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see. It's gonna be a tough decision on our part, picking from who wants to win. I'm picking the winner here.
Yeah, especially going to fight that second place, because do we want Gil or do we want one of the other people in this category? Like, I think the winner-up position is going to be a little more difficult than the winner, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and finally, we have the best female performance. Basically the best female to go on. This included veterans. So, we got Taylor Green once again, Barclay Stockett, Addie Herman, women still here from last season, Rachel DeGuts, and Jaleesa Hemka from the breakout female soloist as well.
Yeah, this was interesting. It was tough to actually pick that last nominee, but we thought, Jaleesa got enough showtime to where she could be well known enough to win this, but honestly, I don't know. There's a lot of top names in here, like Green, Barclay, and like Taylor, Barclay, and Addie. All very top ninjas. And one of them was in here last season and won. Like, seriously, it's gonna be quite interesting to see who is going to win it.
Yeah, so it's between it's between two veterans and a rookie. I don't think Rachel and Jaleesa have even a chance at winning it, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think both of them don't have much of a chance, but the fact that they got a nominee is really cool. The fact that they had a good enough season to where they made it far enough before they can get a nominee.
Yeah, both hit buzzers before this round, in the one-offs and the semis. Means that overall they still got a decent amount of showtime, though Rachel got completely shafted in Vegas, despite getting surprisingly far. She made it to the Gamble alongside Jaleesa. But yeah, I think this entire season is going to be really interesting in terms of the stage 5 Ninja Awards.
Yeah, because all these nominees, a lot of these, unlike previous seasons we've done this and the Ninja podcast did, it's not a no contest. A lot of the ninjas and the nominees did exactly the same as others, so it kind of just comes down to who you want to win it, Oh, it's difficult. It's not automatically just going to be like the last ninja standing for all the categories they're in. It's quite frankly, Vance is in the best comeback story, but he could also not win that category. I can see it, though he probably will win that category anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's the Stage 5 Ninja Awards and the nominees. Speaking of which, let's talk about voting, because it is exactly the same as last year, but there was one thing we want to note.
Yeah, so, voting works the same way as it did last year. You guys will have 2 weeks to vote in community post polls for each category. There's going to be 10 of them. And I want to stress enough that last year, what ended up happening was the poll at the top of the list, the most recent one that was posted, got more votes than any other poll that was posted. Because people just don't feel like scrolling down, or people just get them on the recommended list, but they only get one of the polls. So, to hopefully combat this, I'm going to add text telling you guys to scroll down, or to check out the other nominees too. Hopefully the people who don't see this video, but do see those polls, will see that little note there and check out the other nominees, so that way it's a little more even. Because as you kept on going down, like, we posted the breakout male and female performances first, and those had like not even 50 people vote in them, but yet the best male and best female performances, that were complete landslides, by the way, had over 100 people voting for them. Like it was kind of crazy, those kinds of statistics. But that's what we're doing to try to combat that. There's going to be links in the description for each community post poll, and you guys will just have to vote for them. Make sure to vote for all of them. I can't stress it enough that I want all of the polls to have similar numbers. So, please, if you're going to vote for one of them, vote for all of them. It would be really cool to see if everyone votes for every poll instead of, like, everyone voting for 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, it'd be nice. So, if you guys do see a poll when you recommended it or something like that, and you haven't voted, then yeah, check the others to see if you haven't already.
Yeah, probably roughly an hour after this video goes up, I should have links in the description to all the polls, so you guys can just check them out in the description. You guys see this later. But generally, just give it about an hour or so, and they should all be up, and you guys can like share this with your friends and whatnot, and yeah, we'll generally see who wins. Yeah, this was a fun one to film. This ended up being 33 minutes.
How did we talk for that long about this? Like, the last 2 years, this was one of the shortest episodes, just talking about the nominees. And here we are, doubling that one time.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, we will see you guys next time for the actual winners. It will be in about 2 weeks. In that video, there's going to be a tribute for EW15, as it was last year, as well as we'll announce the winners of the challenge. There's going to be an us category where we decide the winners, and then a you guys vote via the community post that we just talked about, where you guys will be able to vote out for the Stage 5 Ninja Awards. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so we will see you guys next time for that. Peace.